all for getting here. Robin and I got here about a little after 7 and realized there's a whole morning culture here at the folk school I was unaware of. People that get up, it must be 6:30 or something. My hat's off to you. I'm just going to play a little medley of 3 tunes that I composed. And the first one is a waltz called Kindness. And it was a lot of care was shown toward people during the pandemic, and it inspired this. And there's some particular people, but you can imagine your own particular people. And it goes into a hornpipe I wrote for my Morris team. You have a lot of downtime when you play for a Morris team. They go on for hours working on one step, and you sort of, musician goes in the corner and tries to amuse themselves. So I wrote a tune called Wyndham's Retreat. At a retreat that my team Wyndham was having, so it's a descriptive title. And the last one is called Real Santiago, which I wrote in Cuba, in Santiago de Cuba. It has nothing to do with Cuban music. Sorry to disappoint you. So here we go, Kindness. Stories and memories. And when you play tunes that other people write, you have to sort of provide your own, but they're probably different than the people that made up the tunes. I've always wondered what the person was thinking of when they wrote the lovely Irish jig, Mouse in the Cupboard. must have been a pretty amazing story. So this one I wrote, it's called Moments of Enough. All of my songs have choruses, so don't get too comfortable. This has sort of three scenes. That one was in Mexico. At sunrise, I followed a grandfather and his grandson with their burro out to plant corn. And the plow was made of an old limb of a tree that they had used for years. The second one is a scene in front of our house in Brattleboro when our daughter, who has some special needs, finally learned to ride a bike at age 18 from a visiting friend who was a genius of education. And the third one was something that happened to me on a train crossing Russia back during the Soviet times when I was a student. All right, here we go. I hope the sound's okay. The sun's not up on the high plateau. The old man walks with his little burro. His grandson carries a bag of corn. There's work to be done before the morn. And I just tag along, humming the little song. An old tree limb makes a sturdy plow. The old man's father showed him how. His grandson kneels without a sound, placing the seed in the broken ground. And it all seems kind of rough, but it's just a moment of enough. The chorus. Our lives are filled with plenty. We're surrounded every day by the beauty and the challenges that guide us on our way. Our lives are filled with plenty. We're surrounded every day by the beauty and the challenges that guide us on our way. A child learns to ride a bike. It's what she wants, it's what she likes. Her friend reminds her to look around and keep your eyes up off the ground. And I just tag along, humming the little song. Her friend is patient and oh so kind. Keep your eyes on the old stop sign. And in a moment, she begins to glide. This smiling child has learned to ride. And it all seems kind of rough, but it's just a moment of enough. Our lives are filled with plenty. We're surrounded every day by the beauty and the challenges that guide us on our way. The train flies through the Russian night. No moon, no stars, not one street light. The conductor bids me come along, and don't forget the accordion. So I just tag along, humming the little song. And there in the noisy engine room, I play the crew an Irish tune. The conductor thinks it's oh so grand, and me so far from my native land. And it all seems kind of rough, but it's just a moment of enough. Our lives are filled with plenty. We're surrounded every day by the beauty and the challenges that guide us on our way. Robin's going to come up. Robin and I, last year, we brought our bicycles down here, and this year we drove this new EV, and we didn't want to overload it and get stuck on some road with no way to charge it. So we traveled light, but our fears were unfounded. We could have brought them. So this simply is called The Bicycle, and it's got a chorus. The bicycle seems a gift from God. Healthy and clever and wonderfully odd. Balanced on rims of wire and air, powered by muscle and wind in your hair. And it has a little section about Annie Kopchowski, who went by the name Andy Londonderry because he was trying to escape the anti-Semitism in the Boston area. And she rode, in the 1890s, she rode around the world. Well, there's a lot of water, so, there were boats involved. But I really encourage you to look up her story. And a wonderful quote that I like with this song, H.G. Wells said, "Whenever I see an adult on a bicycle, I have hope for the world." So here we go. We'll start with the chorus, so I hope you learn it. You get a few more chances to sing it. Okay. The bicycle seems a gift from God, healthy and clever and wonderfully odd, balanced on rims of wire and air, powered by muscle and wind in your hair. Cycling is not a race against time, struggling to get there or falling behind. The speed that you travel's the speed that is you, and when you arrive, your journey is through. The bicycle seems a gift from God, healthy and clever and wonderfully odd, balanced on rims of wire and air, powered by muscle and wind in your hair. Climbing up mountains surrounded by trees, winding through town in a cool summer breeze. Nature within and nature without. When passing by friends, you'll give them a shout. The bicycle seems a gift from God, healthy and clever and wonderfully odd, balanced on rims of wire and air, powered by muscle and wind in your hair. Annie Kopchowski rode all around the world. In the 1890s, she gave it a whirl. This mother of three with a spirit unbound, in just 15 months, she went all the way around. Annie, our heroine brave and true, you found courage to do what you had to do. You surely spread some rumors and shocked them with your bloomers. You kept the pace and finished your race. We're tipping our hats to you.
Today we have e-bikes, they're certainly grand.
I'll ride on my me-bike as long as I can. Adults riding bikes is a marvelous thing. It gives the world hope when you go for a spin. The bicycle seems a gift from God, healthy and clever and wonderfully odd, balanced on rims of wire and air, powered by muscle and wind in your hair. The bicycle seems a gift from God, healthy and clever and wonderfully odd, balanced on rims of wire and air, powered by muscle and wind in your hair. This is a story about a farmer. It's a ballad It does have a chorus. It's a true story. So I'll just sing it. See if the ballad does its job. A Vermont farmer. Roaming Tenny, all those years ago, standing in the dooryard when the lights were low, looking o'er a cornfield when the seeds were sown, running across the meadow when the hay was mown. Born in 1900, Ascutney was his home, a childhood of wonder, no need to ever roam, set to serve his country when he went off to war. He came back home to farming, that's what his life was for. Now there's a glow on the ridgeline, lighting up the trees, the warmth of a troubled heart carried on the breeze. A glow on the ridgeline, turning night to day. 100 friends and family, with not one word to say. A farmer wakes each morning working harder than the sun. The cows, the wood, the planting, even more that's left undone. Romaine never owned a car, but he always got a ride. A friendly man, a generous smile, the world was on his side. Then in '64 a highway plan drew lines across his farm. An interstate would now replace his ancient house and barn. His orchards, fields, and meadows, his woods and old stone walls, the place where he'd been guardian and friend to one and all. Now there's a glow on the ridgeline, lighting up the trees, the warmth of a steady heart carried on the breeze. A glow on the ridgeline, turning night to day. 100 friends and family, with not one word to say. Now some folks called him stubborn, and others called him kind. A steward of these rolling hills, to progress he was blind. He milked his cows by hand, hitched a horse to cut the hay. He had no use for changing clocks, 'cause it wouldn't change his day. Then early that September morn, in the middle of the night, he set his cows and horses free. The stars were shining bright. He couldn't bear to stand and watch his farm pushed to the ground. So he set the fires and locked the doors and laid his body down. Now there's a glow on the ridgeline, lighting up the trees, the warmth of a loving heart carried on the breeze. A glow on the ridgeline, turning night to day. 100 friends and family, with not one word to say. 100 friends and family, with not one word to say. That's a sad story. It made the national news back in 1964. All right, we got two more. Robin's going to come up. We'll do one that we did last year. Our son was off sailing. I was teaching school, and my principal put a quotation from Albert Einstein on one of the bulletin boards. He liked it when the kids could just wander by and be inspired in some unknown way. And he wrote this quote from Albert Einstein: "A ship is always safe at shore, but that's not why we make them." And our son was off in a sailing ship going from Tahiti to New Zealand or something like that. So, let's see. Oh, I remember. It's got a chorus, too. Okay. A ship, that's your note, a ship. Okay.
A ship is.
Yeah, yeah. A ship is always safe at shore, but that is not.
No, we're not. A ship is safe.
I love streaming because it makes all of your errors and stumbles, you know. Hi, we're just doing our thing over here. A ship is always.
A ship is
A ship is always safe at shore, but that is not what ships are for. Yeah, I know. We know this song. We know this song. Robin always wants to do it in the lowest key possible. A ship. Ready? Here we go. A ship is always safe at shore, but that is not what ships are for. They're meant to carry us away and fill our fates with ocean spray. We'll find adventure on the way, and that is what a ship is for. Cut the line and let her go, batten down the hatches. Nothing ventured, nothing gained, despite the wild wind and rain. A ship is always safe at shore, but that is not what ships are for. They're meant to carry us away and fill our fates with ocean spray. We'll find adventure on the way, and that is what a ship is for. Set your course across the sea, find your way by starlight. This voyage is no easy ride, sailing against the rising tide. Rising tide, the wind and rain, starlight and home again.
Rising tide, the
Rising tide, the wind and rain, starlight and home again. Rising tide, the wind and rain, starlight and home again. Our ship is always safe at shore, but that is not what ships are for. They're meant to carry us away and fill our fates with ocean spray. We'll find adventure on the way, and that is what a ship is for. Thank you. I'm going to finish up with a song that I wrote for a friend of mine, Tony Barron. Some of you many of you have heard Tony Barron sing with his singing partner, John Roberts. John is still doing well. Tony has left us after one of the most heroic living with MS that I have ever witnessed. He just carried on with his love of singing and dancing. He could dance in his electric chair. And he was an amazing singer of English folk song. And you got to hear this song. Tony did get to hear the roses. He did get the roses while he lived. He got very, very much appreciated in life. And this song is called A Man for Every Season. And the chorus, if you're willing to join in, he's a man for every season, pulling the world along. I need to sing it to know it. Oh yeah, singing songs for any reason. The melody sounds clear and strong. The first time I heard Tony sing, I thought to myself, the melody sounds clear and strong. He never hit an off note. So this is A Man for Every Season. It's got a little bit of Morris dancing in it, pub singing, a little bit of mumming, a little bit of it all. So thank you for coming today. This is my last song. John, when I wrote it, he said, Andy, that is clearly about Tony, but you could also sing it as a song about the Green Man. So you can think of it that way, if you will. Okay. I'll start with the chorus. He's a man for every season, pulling the world along, singing songs for any reason. The melody sounds clear and strong. In spring with mud and daffodil, the bells of Norwich ringing still, and dancers find their place by will. Good luck tossed in the fiddler's till. He's a man for every season, pulling the world along, singing songs for any reason. The melody sounds clear and strong. Then summer days without an end, in pub with family, neighbors, friends. This world's a garden we must tend, with music broken hearts to mend. He's a man for every season, pulling the world along, singing songs for any reason. The melody sounds clear and strong. In autumn, colors, wind and frost remind us of the times we lost. These ships out on the waters tossed, our shanty man has paid the cost. He's a man for every season, pulling the world along, singing songs for any reason. The melody sounds clear and strong. Though winter's dark, that precious jewel calls forth the mummers and their fool, with carols singing, carols feasting, burning Yule. Forgiveness and the poor must rule. He's a man for every season, pulling the world along, singing songs for any reason. The melody sounds clear and strong. Then spring again defeats the mire, and who could blame us leaping higher? A song is but our heart's desire, and friendship the truest choir. He's a man for every season, pulling the world along, singing songs for any reason. The melody sounds clear and strong. He's a man for every season, pulling the world along, singing songs for any reason. The melody sounds clear and strong. Thank you for coming this morning.